So, Isaac, what were you doing on 9/11?
I was just a little 6, 7-year-old boy with a parachute on the inside of the plane.
Do you remember? Do you actually remember being a kid?
A little bit. I was homeschooled. I was hoping this would take longer to work into the conversation. So I didn't really at whatever age I was at the time, I didn't really know what New York City was or I knew about planes. Did not understand the scope and gravity of the situation. My parents were acting very weird. We went to my grandma's house to watch TV all day. And I just remember that day, and I was watching cartoons, and they just stayed there and acted weird in the living room. And I guess it's affected everything in my life since that time. And about 10 years later, I started noticing. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, that's what's weird too. I mean, I was fucking 3 years old when this happened, so I used to tell my brother that 9/11 was his fault because he was born in 2001. Like one of those older sibling things. I used to be like, we're no terrorist attacks when I was born. Tales from the Gutters, a show where two completely normal, regular guys talk about weird comics and the weird people who make them. So welcome. I'm Ethan.
My name is Isaac.
Today we're looking at Civilian Justice. By Graig. I'm going with Weich. I'm committing to it.
This is our year one. This is our year one special. So just to get that out of the way, we'll be jumping off buildings. We may not be our powers may not activate in time. We may be hitting the ground. We may be having some montages just to get the kinks worked out with two guys with microphones. It's a lot of power. So this is our training episode.
To kind of lead into this, I do want to talk a little bit about comics and where they were at this point. This first issue came out in 2002, very early 2002, very recently after the September 11th attacks in New York. Graig Weich, New York City native. You could tell by looking at him. He loves comics and he loves New York. If there is he looks like a Spider-Man extra.
Yeah. Oh, are you he is a Spider-Man extra? Did you see that?
Oh, he is?
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I did not see this.
Yeah, we'll get around to it. Yeah. Well placed, Ethan.
This is April, May 2002.
I saw the year that it came out, and I said, well, that's fresh. I didn't even look up the month.
It was very fresh. And this issue stood out to us specifically just because of how, I guess, different it was. We both said that it was kind of outside in its,
It's supremely self-produced. Self-published.
Yeah. It feels self-published.
It looks self-published. It is self-published.
But it's also very sincere. I guess would be a good way to put it in terms of we can get into it a little bit later too. Other reactionary comic books that were coming out during this time. Yeah. So 2002. This is, if we want to go back even more, Marvel sold off Spider-Man, X-Men, and Hulk. They were in dire straits in the 90s, and then they're coming around in the early 2000s again. Comics in general, I think we both came in a little bit after this, but for me, one of the big things during this time was like New X-Men, the Ultimate Universe, before it became what we remember of a lot of the things from the Ultimate Universe, Ultimate Spider-Man, things like that. And I mean, talking about like the impacts of 9/11 on comic books in general, we have what they ended up doing with Ultimatum, which was their own like 9/11 thing. But in terms of specifically like addressing 9/11 in comic books, there's been a lot of discourse about it, especially with superheroes being this very like immoral soapbox and like I don't know what you would say, a very concentrated way for people to express their ideas, especially talking about Marvel and like New York as a character. I mean, obviously a lot of people reference the crying Doctor Doom in Amazing Spider-Man 36 during the JMS and John Romita Jr. run, which is a run that I really like in general, I do want to say. But that issue in particular, there's a lot to process. And I think it seems like, looking back on it now, especially as somebody that wasn't like experiencing it at that time, like looking back and seeing what people were, like how people reacted. Was there any other 9/11 comics that you came across, even like researching this?
I read the graphic novelization of the 9/11 reports. That was my homework. Now I think you're the half of the duo with more of the background on this. So that's why I wanted to ask. I got the impression that this guy, just for the self-publishing angle and like the sincerity, it was a little bit more outside what other people were doing. So when superheroes talked about 9/11, like what's the angle? Were they like, okay, we got to get these guys, or were they very conflicted?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people took a lot of different angles with it, especially in the years after. From what I've gathered in like reading comics, looking back at a lot of things, reading some like good journal articles about this like time period is, well, Amazing Spider-Man 36, the whole thing was 9/11 just like 9/11 happens in the Marvel universe.
The universe.
And
okay.
The whole issue is it's a great like, it does a great job of honoring the real heroes of 9/11, right? The firefighters and the police officers, EMTs, the people that were boots on the ground, really helping people and like saving as many lives as they could. 9/11 was something that the superheroes couldn't predict. Like, they just couldn't get there in time. It was just something that like happened. And I think that was like a reaction to a lot of people's feelings of helplessness during that time, and how surreal these attacks were for a lot of Americans. Like, Grant Morrison has a great chapter in his Super Gods book where he goes through a very esoteric explanation. Not the 9/11 attacks as like a weird crossover bridge of reality and fiction, where it was this like extremely kind of like mind-fucking event for so many people that it was a weird thing to process, right? Like this like crazy attack on like one of the biggest cities, important cities in the world, or like this crazy thing that happens that feels like a plot in a movie. And because it's not like this, I mean, it came out of nowhere, but you can even look at other, like the conflict in the Middle East has been something that, and even America's involvement in it has been something that was going on for like a decade or more before that, right? And this was just like a mix of things like coming to a head. And there are plots in comics before that, like there's an issue of, I think in the Ennis Punisher run, where like a plane gets flown into a building right before that. Yeah, and so Grant Morrison talks about how it's kind of like this cultural zeitgeist moment where everybody kind of saw something like this happening as like possible, even in comic, just like it's that whole like Simpsons did it first thing, right? Where it's oh, this is something that could happen, and it's like, oh shit, it actually did. And the fallout like from that in comics later on, like you see, we get into this whole like we're doing black leather, we're all like paramilitary organizations, right? And it's this hyper nationalist and like patriotic, almost jingoism that like emerges in a lot of these like early 2000 comics. And we wanted to cover this because it is something that is very of the time, and it's also very sincere in like what it's trying to do. Because I mean, obviously, when you first sent this to me, I was like, oh my God. I was like, okay, what is this going to be?
Gonna be the worst of the worst, yeah.
Because outside of like that Amazing Spider-Man issue, we have things like Frank Miller's Holy Terror, which is extremely Islamophobic.
I Google searched images, and I think that spoke 1,000 words very quickly.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And, like, you see it in a lot of things. I mean, like, even before this, like, there's like, what is it in Death in the Family? Is it the whole plot of Death in the Family? Is the Joker's trying to sell nukes to somebody or something? Like, he's trying to sell nukes, or he like agrees to kill somebody for like one of like the Iranian like leaders, something weird.
Jason is also a victim of a terrorist attack. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so leading into this, we have a lot of stuff like that, and looking at this character, what is your elevator pitch for this? Like, what would you say?
I guess it would just be like raw emotion having been processed over a couple months, and then he just like fucking just got something out fast. I think I could elevator pitch why it's interesting to read now more than why it should have been made at the time. I think if you can get something out and just do it yourself, no one should stop
like,
you.
Writer and artist, and from the looks of it, letterer and colorer, and it feels like it too. So much to love about this. All right, so let's start at the beginning. Let's look at this cover right now. So, civilian justice, tagline: "We do not attack, we defend. USA." Right. Percent of profits donated to relief funds.
It is literally just the percent sign. I've never seen that in my entire life. It is a percent sign of profits. Could be 1, could be 50, could be 100. We'll never know.
This film strip at the bottom.
Oh my God. We'll get to it, but he was just like a short-lived hustler. I think he just fucking hustled so fucking hard for 5 years. We'll get into it when we talk about him a little more. It just seems like he's just kind of like coasted on that ever since. Like, there's something to be said for someone who was just like grinding, had all these little projects going on, and then has not in any searchable way produced anything outside of the
we have a film strip of the live action like proof of concept
for
trailer.
a movie.
He has an entire like interconnected universe, which also includes a character based off of Ice-T's wife Coco that he did for their reality TV show that we can get into later. What else? What are you thinking? What are you talking? The terrorist with the XX?
He has an XX on his head that looks like it was added in like postscript because he was like, it's kind of weird to have just like a Middle Eastern guy. Like, he needs to like as a bad guy in the back because it is. We'll get to it. It is anti-Islamophobia. It gets around to it. Ethan, the thing I want to point out, do you notice anything about like the main guy? Just like the way he looks compared to the rest of the background?
Is he a Is this a picture that was painted over?
It is a photo. It is literally the photo of like the fucking 12-inch statue that he sells. You can see the glare. Yeah. So what he's done is he's photographed the statue that he made for the comic, then he retroactively put it as the cover for the comic, which is pretty boss move.
Can't knock the hustle. I love to see it. I do also want to say on the title page, we have Beyond Comics Inc., Civilian Justice, and Beyond Comics have no racist or discriminatory overtones whatsoever. Civilian Justice is a comic book which is opposed to the existence of hate groups associated with terrorism and other anti-American and prejudice tensions against any organizations, religions, races, nations, and countries, Middle Eastern
or otherwise.
Just in case anybody
In
was
2025, if you put that many caveats before a statement, you are about to say something like insanely racist. This man is a pure soul. I think everything is there very sincere. But if I were to read that by anything from like a modern author, I would be like, okay, this is about to be something pretty fucked up.
I do also want to say, ironically, printed in
I know.
All right, you want to lead us in with the opening scroll?
I've got nothing but bits here, man, because even in the first page.
Can you give us a dramatic reading?
September 10th. A day may come when our freedom is imposed upon, and we, the civilians, will have to stand up and use our Second Amendment right to defend ourselves against an evil terrorist militia. That day is today.
Right after reading that the first time, I was like, oh no.
Oh no. Second Amendment, yeah. September 11th. Dedicated to the fallen rescuers and victims of the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, Flight 11, 17577, and the innocent, peace-loving Muslims, which there you're like, okay, all right. And to the brave civilians who took justice into their own hands against the terrorist on Flight 93. May God bless your heroic souls and watch over your families left behind.
I do want to say, too, this is like the first hint that it's not really... It's exactly what you think it would be, but it's a little bit more nuanced than something you would expect of this time reacting to this.
I've heard worse takes, for sure.
Exactly. So we open on a 2-page spread. If we want to talk about the designs of these characters.
He did it all himself. They're... What the fuck? I don't have the vocabulary for this. They're like gradient?
You see it in a lot of comics of this time. We're starting to use the digital stuff a lot more. We're really starting to do what you gotta do. He's doing it basically all himself, but we have the glows and the outlines. There's lens flares. Crazy lens flares. Yeah. So we open on Civilian Justice. We don't know his name yet. He's down on the ground, about to get stabbed with an American flag. How would you describe his costume?
He looks like Nightwing with a bandana on his face. If Nightwing was like more into the USA and BDSM.
He's got that like big motorcycle jacket collar, but on like a skin tight bodysuit. USA down the arms. His mask is literally just the American flag wrapped around his face. Gold chain with an American flag on it.
Yes.
American flag patch on his
chest. In case
chest.
you missed it.
As far as designs, I do like this design.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
For what it is, I think it works. Like, I think it's cool. And then the villain, I'm so confused by what is going on with his
He's
thing.
got a double X, and it's like a part of his face.
Yeah, is that a mask?
It's like the hat in JoJo, where his hair, but also his head, like, can be both, and they don't bother distinguishing.
Because he's got like a thing underneath too. Like there's like, is that part of the mask? It's like there's like a flowing cloth underneath the mask.
It's like if Charles Manson also had like a baklava, with a swastika on top of it. It's a hat on a hat.
So and then we go into a flashback. They are the Martinsons' house, talking to his dad, who's a cop, and his brother, who is also
his
a cop.
Dad and his brother are mad at him because he's a fucking freeloader. His dad has a great line. What the hell's wrong with you? All those years training in martial arts, learning the trade of becoming a detective like me, you're the only one in the family that didn't become a cop or a fireman. All right. The two options. Why, Clint? Why?
I do love too that it's like those like memes where it's like, oh, I wonder what the main character in this anime is, and his dad and his brother are dressed completely normal, and he's there already with the USA leather jacket on.
He is essentially like wearing his future uniform when he makes the costume. It's almost the exact same thing he was already wearing.
I do want to point out too, the size, the amount of text in these panels is insane.
He also, for some fucking reason, he chose a black text bubble with white inside for everyone. It's not like only when the Grim Reaper is talking, it's every last person. The bubbles just jump out of the panels and not like, oh wow, they pop out. It's like they just often don't fit. Often a character just has too much to say.
And that's what's funny too is they say so much in this book, saying so little. Like they literally just say the same thing, and, like over and over, which I love. Like some of the dialogue gives me The Room vibes a little bit.
Yeah,
I do love that about this. So he gets pissed off at his parents. We get this beautiful, loving scene. This scene right here reminds me of the Lethal Weapon sequel that they make in Always Sunny. where he's in this apartment with his girlfriend, right? Or are they married? It's his girlfriend.
It's his girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's Sarah and Clint.
I do love... He has this whole monologue.
She's very supportive.
Yeah, she is very extremely supportive.
Talk about like how the monologue is on the page though.
Oh my god, yeah.
I mean that's like 4 paragraphs.
So let me count the number of lines. So this is a 6-panel page. In the second panel, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines of dialogue that stretch the entire panel, and then it cuts off in the middle of his sentence to continue on the next panel, which has another 7 lines of dialogue that ends with him talking about how he has a bad feeling about her going to work
I got a bad feeling.
And then they fuck.
To which she responds with 3 words. 3 words. I love you.
And they fuck.
Well, or we should fuck.
Yeah.
Oh. Side note, really quick. I don't know fucking jack shit about New York City. The first panel, or the first page, New York City, our home. The second page, what do they fucking call it?
Oh, the Village? It's not even the
New York Village.
New York Village.
Right, like, it's not split into the city and the village, right? Like, am I
mean,
wrong?
there is, like, the West Village and stuff like that. Greenwich Village. Like, by
But would you say...
and shit. But I've never heard it
would
called
you say,
New York
I live in
Village.
New York Village?
No. It's always the Village or something Village. I do also want to point out it wouldn't be like an early 2000s or like late 90s comic if the t-shirts did not completely... Like, everybody's got a wet t-shirt in this book.
Yeah.
Everybody.
For the t-shirt to fit his girlfriend like that, her breast would have to be so smashed up against her body. It doesn't make sense. Even for him, like, his pectorals like should not be hanging like that if the shirt is clinging to his body like that. It's one or the other.
I also love that he always had... The backwards hat stays on. The backwards
in bed
hat stays on during sex.
At all
for
times.
sure. All right. What happens after they have a beautiful night together?
Immediately cut to the towers exploding, and he's saying no. He's saying Sarah. So Sarah's got a nice job. Sarah had a nice job, and now we're reading a 9/11 comic. Yeah, he's rushing towards the building. He finds an American flag on the ground. He's overcome with regret, anger, and patriotism in equal measures in this formative event.
I do also want to say, too, that running away from the Twin Towers does not stop your shirt from sticking to
you. A lot of beautiful women running away from the tower on this day.
I do want to point out, this is a pretty good line that does speak to what I understand people's feelings of this time to be. He says, fear of the flames that were engulfing the symbol of our city, fear of losing everything that made sense in life. And I think that just like going back to what we were talking about before, a lot of people were using comics at this time, like a very like elevated medium, kind of like it's all very like concentrated, right? Like we're talking like crime and like good and bad and heroes, and like this was like a thing that like made it all feel or like that much more like real and surreal at the same time for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like during this, like when this happened. And then we go into a sequence, right, about him after. I love this page where he harasses the guy with the anthrax shirt.
Well, it moves that fast. We don't know how far in the future we are. He's very fucking depressed. I had walked the earth like an undead corpse. He's got like a missing poster for a second. He looks like he's like kind of done with the missing thing. Maybe he's given up, and then he just starts like assaulting people.
Yeah, so he pulls. There's this young like punk kid with an anthrax shirt who's just like minding his own business. He's got a fucking McDonald's soda, walking down the street, and the fucking, what's his name, Clint comes up and like grabs him by the arm. And he says,
The upper arm.
"You think that's funny? You think bioterrorism is funny?" And the guy's like, "Dude, they're just a retro metal band from the 80s, which I love. I think that's a great way to react to something. Just like, and then everybody around him is like, bro, what the fuck is
There's a quest giver. Yeah. He was ready. He was, hey, asshole.
Literally. So yeah, that NPC in the side is like, hey, asshole, you want to take your anger out on somebody? Then go find the people responsible. And this is his Uncle Ben moment.
He goes, maybe I will.
I love how his Uncle Ben is just some random like busker dude who's just like on the side.
Yeah,
just
hell
like,
yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
do something.
He's got a mic and no speaker. He's just standing there.
Yeah, he's just there. I do love the line too at the bottom of this page. I felt it coursing through my blood. A change was coming. Something had to be
Beautiful
done.
setup. Okay, this is where it all gets started. While he's making this suit, he's thinking about what kind of hero he's going to be. And I think he's got too many thoughts. I think there's too much going on in his head. There's redeemable concerns that he has that is very anti-Islamophobia, but he doesn't have like a it's just like, it's conspiratorial? I don't know. He says, so where we left off, a change was coming. Something had to be done immediately. I had seen on the news average Americans like me driven over the edge by the day's events to mistakenly act out in violence against their neighbors. It's got a man, like a skinhead looking guy with a knife towards a Middle Eastern man, like holding his son. He's like, please, we're Americans too. And he says, I had come so close to being one of those enraged degenerates, which I guess was when he was yelling at the anthrax guy. Like if he had spent time like almost beating up a Middle Eastern guy, like that would have been a little clearer, or almost, I don't want to say cooler, but like it would have been clear. Who is he? He wants to seek out and destroy those whose purpose it was to make me want to kill my fellow Americans who look like them, those who wish to scare me into helping them rip the multicolored fabric of our great nation apart. That's like, who are they? He will find they so that they can continue, so it has a plot. Is he gonna kill George Bush? Like, you know what? Like he's got a ton of thoughts. He's not anti-Muslim. He wants to protect the Muslims. He happens to find someone who exactly fits the bill of like what he's looking for. But in the real world, like this is like a crazy mission statement, you know? Like there's a lot of thoughts. And a couple months after 9/11.
I do want to say, like, I gotta give him some credit for being, like, addressing this, because, like, even in, like, ASM 36, right, there's, like, a line about, if I'm remembering correctly, there's a line about them, like, oh, like, turning on, like, their fellow citizens, like, things like that. But here, he is very upfront about it.
Yeah.
And, like, we'll get into this a little bit more later, but in that same, like, monologue, he's talking about they are the monsters who disguise themselves with the face and stolen religion of innocent Muslim people. So, like, we can get into it later once we find the villain. He does, like, posit the evil of terrorism and this thing as, like, something outside of, like, the people who are perpetrating it.
Yeah.
Which I think is, like, an interesting, like, and, like, I mean, for a comic and for, like, a 9/11 comic, like, a very kind of, Like, it's a nuanced and sincerely, like, generous perspective of, like, something that I wouldn't, this is the page that I was like, oh, like, so he actually is, like, he's, like, all of those, like, previous things weren't just like caveats so that he could do whatever the fuck he wanted later. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, oh, okay. Like, he wants to make it very clear that he was affected by this, but he's not going to let him turn into like, and I appreciated that about it. I also appreciated him sewing into his mask a little like underwear tag that's, if you find this mask, it means I did not survive. Please continue my work in the name of justice.
It is literally the Santa Claus. But it is the civilian justice clause.
I want to see a sequel to this where like some like little kid finds a mask and then he just gets jacked and puts on a leather fucking bodysuit.
Yeah.
So this is the first, after this we get the first full page spread of his suit, which also has an American flag. His weapon is the American flag.
A big steel pole. I think maybe he found it on the day. No, he finds a flag on the day, but he just has this like ornate, sharp pole that he uses to enact civilian justice. It's time.
And it is very, like, just the art style is extremely, like, there's, like, the way that he draws faces, it gives me kind of, like, Eastman-y vibes, like old TMNT, where, like, there's something about the eyes. They're a little bit too far apart sometimes.
Uncanny, yeah.
You know what I mean? The design is cool, like, I think, for what it is of the time. Like, it's balanced well for a, like, superhero costume.
He's just wearing the same jacket he was wearing before. Top half is its own thing. The bottom half is a completely wildly different direction. He is just wearing gimp pants. There's skin tight. There is at least 12 buckles, like, on each leg.
Yes, a lot of buckles. A lot of, like, I don't know, are these, like, there's zippers or something?
No zipper.
There's a lot going on in the crotch area, too, which I don't really know what's going on there. He's got, like, 2 flies that go horizontally.
What the fuck? Yeah.
Which, there's a lot going on there. But overall, I think this is kind of a fun design. We can talk about it a little bit later. He did revamp this character.
Who's that guy? Codename Justice. Codename Justice is a step down.
But Codename Justice. But I prefer this one. It feels very of the time, but I do like the design in general.
His mission begins.
So he moves on.
Just want to point out here, what does he say? All right. As a nation, we must wait for justice, but in my world, justice waits for no one. I'm pretty sure at this point we had already invaded Afghanistan. We do not talk about that at all in this comic, but it's like there's some stuff about, like, oh, we have to wait to get justice. I think just, like, you know, because bin Laden escaped, I don't know. Like, it was not a famously, like, cautious period in American history, I just want to say.
There are so many, like, this line, there's so many of these lead up monologues to, like, this big declaration. Yeah. Like, in a lot of things, that would be, like, the line, like, his line or whatever, like, his mantra. But there's, like, 15 of them in this book. Like, every 6 pages, he's got a new, like, kind of slogan or, like, motto that he's running.
So he wants to do everything independently. He wants to be his own man. He wants to take justice into his own hands. The first thing he does is break into his dad's office to go search the FBI.
Yeah, at the NYPD.
Yeah, he's on the, like, Nepo baby shit.
Which, I don't think this is how this works either. I don't think, like, that the local police have, like, the FBI files, like, on.
Maybe they do things different in New York Village. I don't know.
He just finds the guy. Like it's not made clear, like, what is this guy? This is not the guy.
No, it's pro-torture. That's how he finds him. An FBI suspect that had recently been released after questioning, he didn't... ... He didn't have any involvement, but he might know someone who might. So he finds the big bad in the FBI files, and then the way that they don't know where the big bag is, but they didn't torture the guy that they had arrested enough. That was their problem. So he's gonna go fix that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So he finds this guy. He gets a name and an address from this guy. Which literally in 3 panels, he finds this like other suspect guy. Does it like it's implied that
scares him, yeah.
Doesn't do anything.
Okay, sorry. No torture yet. No torture yet.
He didn't want any more trouble. But it's also like, why didn't he say anything?
Yeah,
It's just like, okay, so it's like after the attack, he's just like, well, this is a little over my head. The dude's just like, well,
he
you
didn't trust the cops.
I'll draw the line at regular terrorism, but what's for sure flying planes in a building? Went a little bit too far for me. So he gets a name and address from this guy.
The next guy. The FBI get involved now.
Yes. And with this lady who also has like the boob sock thing going on with her shirt.
Yeah. The perspective on this is that there's just like one breast pointed straight towards the viewer's eye, so there's just like this like
at one time
horrifying.
It's like one of those like Renaissance painting techniques where they're always looking at you no matter where you no matter where you're standing in a room.
Her left breast will be facing you. Yeah, the FBI are like already onto his lead. Not to disrespect the feds, but they are a bureaucracy bound by due process and legal procedures. It took time for them to make a move. They're outside the fucking house.
They got there before you did.
I refuse to sit patiently and wait for results for 4 minutes. So he breaks, or what the fuck? Maybe I don't know.
He breaks into this guy's house.
You get that the FBI are already outside of.
And I also like what I don't really understand like some of these like designs, I guess, because it's like not supposed to be. They make it a point. I don't know if this is intentional or not to make it less kind of like of a caricature of Middle Eastern people. But then it's just this weirdly tribal. Like this guy looks like he's like a fucking like Wakandan foot soldier or something like that. He's just got shirtless, or does he have a shirt on? I cannot tell.
Yeah, it's very black. I think it's like a bullet strap on his chest. I think that's bullet strap.
Yeah, and then this dude's also got this like intersecting double X.
Yeah, that's the bad sign. I think it's kind of supposed to look like the Illuminati. It's just like they finished the X. I don't know.
Yeah. So, yeah, he pulls up on this guy.
Beats the fuck out of him.
Yeah, beats
My strength and speed surprised me. My adrenaline had been on overload for days. Sounds exhausting.
I love the line, the scent of vengeance, so pungent in my nose. I do like that. That's a fun one.
It tastes so strong, yeah. It transformed him into a weapon of well-focused force. He wraps up this fucker in the American flag and beats him until he gets information.
Yeah.
39 minutes of persuasion later, this is the torture, and I was on my way to sweet justice.
Talk about semiotics.
Fuck.
Beautiful. And then, so we cut away from them to the bad guys' secret lair.
No, 2 layers. It's a Russian doll of bad guys' layers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they got which is it's just intersecting tubes and floating like CRT TVs.
No, wait. Back up one panel. We start with My Children Jihad Has Begun. It's got a similar color thing, so it looks like the same scene. That's the fake Muslim bad guy. But he's watching. I think maybe this whole thing was put in later, because look at the bottom right. He's like looking at this guy with like a scar on his face. We don't know who the fuck that is.
Yeah, so he's on the call with the big bad Dracula fucker.
The Dracula fucker.
They're on FaceTime. So it's like the terrorist group or whatever is just a front for this other just like Castlevania looking fucker.
Yeah, I think. Oh no, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's who he's got on the screen. I think I think that this was added in as a Ravidactyl tie-in, because in the line here, once I complete the Ravidactyl artifact, nothing can stop me from realizing my full power. We will discuss Ravidactyl.
Okay. So yes, we get the little like editor's note that this will be the little asterisk that this is part of some kind of crossover.
Yeah, it's coming.
Which, man, if you're doing this all by yourself,
why not? Yeah.
Like, big ups for doing it. Like, you gotta plug your other shit. I'm guessing, like, is this, because I did not look into his other stuff. Is this guy the big bad of this year? Is this the fucking Thanos, or like, is he like the Mephisto kind of guy that's like crossing over?
I didn't read any Ravidactyl. I assume that he's the super bad.
So it's implied that this whole like terrorist plot is being driven by some other like evil entity.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And like it's this weird, I don't know what your thoughts on this are, just because like in general, like when they make like an allegory out of like a real life thing, but then they're also addressing the real life thing, because like you look at something like, I don't know, like Ultimatum, or like what, Batman v Superman, right? Where it's like, oh, this whole like Zod attack was the 9/11 of Metropolis, right? Where they make Superman, he's like 9/11 Jesus, kind of like. But then here it's like, oh, it's actually 9/11, but it's also we're gonna put this like genre allegory on top of it, and I get like the vibe of, okay, we're trying to make this not right, like we're not trying to demonize Muslims, and we're not trying to like promote Islamophobia and like things like that, but like it's such a weird thing of just being like, 9/11? Well, really? The guy behind that was like this. It feels like a fucking QAnon plot. And I think that speaks to, too, like how like surreal and weird, like it's the whole like stranger than fiction thing, where it's like you can't make up a plot that's as like wild as something like this.
And I do basically agree that like we should be charitable to this guy, and he is like very well intentioned. But like I think when you make the lore that 9/11, well, I guess 9/11 just happened because of 9/11. But in post 9/11, there's like terrorist organizations that are being secretly controlled by like evil figures. So it does feed into like a weird, it is perpetuating some negative ways of viewing the event. At least he doesn't say that he did 9/11. Like at least he stopped himself from that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it too with stuff like, I mean, he does, like, it's funny because he does draw parallels later in some of the back matter of this issue to civilian justice and somebody like Captain America, right? And, like, you look at Captain America World War II, you got, like, the Nazis, but then it's, like, Red Skull and Hydra, and, like, I mean, that's obviously playing into the whole, like, Nazi occultism thing too, which was like some like real fucking weird shit. But it's also like, are we saying that like the Nazis or like terrorists are like, is that because like that's a real thing, and it's weird, it feels weird to be like, well, actually it's just like, it's actually just the devil telling them to do it.
Is that how they split the difference with Red Skull, though, right? Every time I've seen it, Red Skull talks about the Nazi thing, it's always like, Hitler thought Red Skull was crazy. Red Skull thought Hitler was crazy. Like, it's like they just had parallel paths or something, so you can leave Hitler as a historical figure, and it's not like they were like, it's like they had side hustles.
They just had a lot of things in common. They had intersecting interests. But
not to drive my point home, I'm not going to harp on it. But on the next panel, also talking about a negative way to view the world that this is perpetuating. And here it was, the impenetrable stronghold of a sinister terrorist cell in friendly neighborhood Saddle River, New Jersey. The Al-Qaeda in the backyard. Who'da thunk it? So it is also kind of encouraging this, like, way of looking in the world where there's like secret cells like all around you in friendly neighborhoods, you know?
Because, I mean, that's one thing that was big, too. I mean, like, we even, like, we see it still now. It's just, like, the whole idea of, like, I mean, yeah, like, secret cells, like, doing these, like, conspiracies, like, in our neighborhoods. You know, it's that, like, weird, like, intersection of, like, the other, like, this outside world of, like, these evil things, but it's, like, infiltrating, like, oh, our beautiful, like, white picket fence America, like, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, and it's so fresh. It's so fresh. So, like, that hasn't been sorted yet. I don't know if, like, the public has decided if they're cells or not. So, like, he's just, like, he's doing his best in that fucking zeitgeist. Like, I'll definitely give him that.
So he follows, like, I'm a little bit confused. So, like, he gets information from this guy and then pulls up on this terror cell in Jersey. So it's a different house he goes to.
Yeah, we're three layers in. FBI, pawn, second guy where the FBI had showed up, and now through his intimidation, he's now ahead of the FBI. He's like he's at the leader of the cell, I think.
So we get 3 villains here. We got this like henchman dude, which he takes out
double X's
right away. And he's got the heavy.
A lot of monologuing here.
He's got the heavy with the mask that's on like the first like splash page at the very beginning with this club. And then we got this other dude, this very Bin Laden-y looking guy with
the big guy is standing over him. He's about to stab him with the flag. You notice anything about the tears in the bottom right?
Yeah, what is going on? Like, so he fights the big, like, the heavy, right? And then he gets taken down. We get to the page where he's about to get, like, the panel where he's about to get stabbed. And, like, we zoom in on Civilian Justice's eye where his, like, mask is ripped and he's, like, crying yellow.
Piss.
And it's very digital. It is extremely digital. Yeah, like it's this weird like CG. I don't know what this is. Like, are these tears? Is this sweat? Is this?
He wanted the Spider-Man shot where Spider-Man's mask is ripped and he's like on his last leg. But the way he got there was that Civilian Justice got punched in the back so fucking hard that the front of his mask blew out. And he starts fucking leaking honey from his eyes.
And then, well, the next page is one of my favorites in this entire issue, where he is inspired by the spirit of the city, which is it's him stabbing the big heavy dude. Yeah, with the tip of the flag spear, and he's surrounded by crying faces, but these are photographs that have been either digitally altered or just traced.
You put through like the art filter.
That's just like, and they're just floating around. It is an extremely surreal panel.
Very strange. And then what is the caption at the very bottom of this 2-page spread here?
Well, we have a line from the national anthem. Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. All right.
By stabbing him through the chest.
Yeah, and we got little, I am justice for them, for every child you made parentless, for every soul you took. The flag saved me. It was as if it had a life of its own. Are we implying that he has like some kind of like America-based powers or anything like that here? Like, is this like, like he's possessed by the spirit
his adrenaline
of
is on
America
overdrive.
and patriotism to defeat this, like, and also
Well, he was raised to be a firefighter, so he's got a lot of like special ops.
And then the FBI lady pulls up, right as does he kill this guy? Yeah, this guy's dead.
No, he says now your fate rests with the feds, which I don't think you'd say. I think he just stabbed him through the chest, and
a lot of blood.
Fine.
So
FBI
a
lady
funny
shows
shit,
up.
yeah, where he's
Give me
like,
your
I
gun.
don't have one, not my style. And then he throws... Yeah, what
I thought
happened
we
with
were
that? And then he
Second Amendment.
fucking throws the flag spear at her, almost getting her in the face, and then hits another henchman
Within an inch of her
guy
fucking life, yeah.
who comes out and like...
Yeah. I don't like the way her
Yeah,
tongue
this
looks
is
in
a
that panel
wild-
where the flag almost hits
wild
her.
panel. But yeah, so he takes out the... So I guess he had no problems. Does this guy get stabbed or what? Does he just like take his gun?
Is that
No,
is that
this
the
is
guy who was
another...
trying
I
to
think the
escape?
Bin
Was that
Laden guy was like
Laden guy?
astrally projecting in. Cause he just like dips. Yeah, he like dips
What the fuck?
right
He got
when
away.
he starts fighting the heavy.
He got away, yeah. I live to fight another day.
Uh,
Honestly, could have just been Bin Laden. Like, there's nothing in the book that says it's not Bin Laden.
So yeah, so like he takes out this guy that's about to kill the Fed, who is like, okay, fine, her partner comes in. It's like, all right, we're gonna let him go, right? Also, another extremely gratuitous shot of her nipples through her shirt, which
That's why she was late.
yeah, and then he just
So
leaves.
the guy he stabs looks incredibly Russian. It's very...
Yeah.
What the hell just happened? Also, all the FBI people, they say, right? I guess not. Before that, right? I think you'd better come with us. The FBI, like, in the little bit of characterization they get, are not the most competent individuals. Hot as hell, man and woman. Beautiful.
Yeah,
agents.
so, this beautiful like twink man and this like supermodel lady, and so he rides off into the night.
Big shot. The full moon's behind him. He's got this fucking wild motorcycle, like spider legs coming
Crazy
out of
motorcycle. Also, yeah, too, like who is funding this? Because he makes a point at the beginning talking about how he can barely pay his bills. But he's got this trick that maybe that's why he can't pay his bills, because he's spending it on all this fucking stupid shit. Like, babe, you have 5 American flag chains. Like, you don't need one more.
One for every occasion.
He rides off into the night.
That Al-Qaeda bastard made it obvious that I have just begun fighting for justice. So yes, within the canon of this universe, Al-Qaeda is
Yeah,
like
it
funded.
is Al-Qaeda.
There, it says it right there. So I guess Al-Qaeda is like a secret. If you believe that global events and terrorists are being funded by shadowy organizations, I'm just saying that typically brings people to a line of thinking that does not have a good end result.
I mean, that's the thing, though, too, is, like, this is, I feel like, before we hit the tipping point of things like this. I mean, we still got, well, like, Alex Jones was still going hot and heavy during this time, but, like, I feel like this is when he was still doing, like, Bohemian Grove type shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is... Like, it was, I mean, like, for a lot of people, right? For, like, a lot of, like, discourse and stuff, like, 9/11 was a tipping point for, like, a lot of things. Like, all of, like, these conspiracy theories and stuff like that were already prevalent and, like, going on. And, like, people were still, like, talking about these things. And then it's after this where like, people really dig in their heels.
I thought that the 9/11 report was as much information as I needed. I read it. I said, yes.
Yeah, because that was like actually based off of the official reports, right? Of like 9/11.
I didn't feel conspiratorial after reading it. But I don't think that there's a problem with JFK either, so I can't be trusted. I'm not very skeptical.
So he rides off into the night, away from the
Closing
thing,
lines.
and
Looks like this country is in need of a radical terrorectomy, and I volunteer to be the scalpel. Had he been Dr. Justice, would have been a great line. Very weird line for him to close with.
And then we get another shout out to the national anthem with the land of the free
of the free
and the home of the brave.
Yes, that is the end. That is the end of the story, and now there's another 7 pages of ads.
Yeah, so like there is a lot of back matter for this. I'm assuming all of the rest of his comics as well. I don't know. But maybe this would be a good time to like talk a little bit more about the guy, like looking at this. So he has ads for him. Spoiler alert. Graig Weich is Civilian Justice.
His film project, his comic book, his action figures.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to say about this other ad that's on there for a comic expo is that it just says at the top, CC miniseries number 2 on sale September 11th, 2002. Capital YES. We remember too. ... Which almost seems a little condescending. Almost seems like a bit of a clapback.
But yeah, he's got a lot of merch. He's running this like these statues, and he's also doing a lot of this real life superhero type work. Maybe would this be a good time to talk about the whole like real life superhero thing?
The only other thing I want to say about this, if anyone ever reads this and has access to Ravedactyl Project Evolution video, I cannot find it anywhere, with special guest appearance by David Prose, the guy who plays Darth Vader, Grammy winner Coolio.
Yeah. Donald Faison, hell yeah.
I would really like to see this, so if anyone could ever put that in my hands, I would be forever indebted. All right, that was my last thing.
I will also say too, Graig Weich is like he does the Alex Ross thing of like where it's all his face. Like he is Ravedactyl,
Yeah,
he is also Civilian Justice. Which, hey man, if you're doing this by yourself, like
who's gonna stop you?
Man. I love to see it. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess there is like a little part about how he dresses up as Civilian Justice and does some of these like community outreach things, working with FDNY and the NYPD, right? A lot of dedications. There's a picture of him at a con shaking hands with Captain America. The subtitle, Defending the USA Together, right? But I do want to talk a little bit about this time period, like the early 2000s and this whole like real life superhero thing. I don't know how many people remember. We were looking at a little bit of it together. There was that, so you want to be a superhero? Or who wants to be a superhero, right? The Stan Lee hosted reality TV show.
You gotta say it like that. Who wants to be a superhero?
Where a bunch of people compete to see who will get, I think there's a comic made, right? But like during this time, there were a lot of people doing this real life superhero thing, right? They were dressing up as superheroes. A lot of it was like community outreach work, organizing soup kitchen, kind of bringing the whole idea of superheroes as these moral, community-based heroes that were like about the people.
Like it's his choice that it is like to be a superhero, you have to be like a fucking like neighborhood guy. Like from what the stuff we watched in my memory, all the challenges and stuff, like they're not even, I thought it would be more like acrobats and shit. Mostly it's just like these weird pop psychology, like what would you do in this situation challenges.
Mm-hmm. All those moral dilemmas that like you come up with, right? And like a lot of like superhero stuff. And like I do want to talk a little bit about we had like Phoenix Jones, probably the most famous / infamous real life superhero, who was a former MMA fighter, right? Who was probably like he would break up bar fights, shit like that. And he was like the most notable of this like era of
kick-ass
real life superhero
guy,
yeah, like very in like 5, but he ended up going to jail for meth possession later on, and he got sued for pepper spraying somebody during one of these
It's
fights.
his superpower.
That was kind of the end of the whole like real-life superhero thing, at least in like popular culture, and this was like 2011. But like all through the early 2000s, I remember there was like a lot of these like basically like cosplay groups that did like community service stuff, and it was cool. Like especially I remember going to like cons and stuff like that, and there were like a lot of these dudes. Same thing with like stuff like the Ghostbusters cosplayers and like I think 501st, the Stormtrooper cosplayers, and they do a lot of like fundraising for like community outreach. And like I just thought that was like a really interesting kind of crossover, something that was kind of born, I guess, in this era. But you want to get back into Graig Weich, like some of the other stuff that he's done, and like what were you able to find out about the man himself?
Before we move on from Who Wants to Be a Superhero, do you know who won? There was 2 seasons. Have you looked at the winners of season 1 and season 2?
No, I did not. Who won?
The winner of season 1 is a superhero named Feedback. It is a white man in a black and blue, slightly cop-looking outfit, very clean cut. Season 2 was won by the Diffuser, another white man, very clean cut. This one is almost exactly just a cop outfit, so had to be said. That's very funny. You should look at these. Look at these pictures. And he was like just very everywhere for like a year or two.
During this time, right, like comics were in a weird place, kind of coming back with like a lot of stuff in like the 2000s, right? Like recovering from like the 90s and the whole like speculator boom, which like economically for the comic industry was tough, right? And for like fandoms, and they were kind of like coming back. We were starting to get into a little bit more of like the nerd stuff is cool, right? And I think this guy and like the stuff he did outside of comics, like it seems like it was a time when a lot of people were trying to break in a lot. Like there was a little bit more space for new like creators and things like that. Like Image had been going strong for a while, so like this whole like creator owned environment for comics made it feel more accessible, I think, for a lot of people. And then you had stuff like the movies were getting bigger, all these like shows and things where they were like bringing like nerd culture and stuff like to the forefront a little bit more. And like I'm assuming, because like I did see stuff about him like going on like talk shows and like doing all these things.
I don't know if you're familiar, but it seems like just from the little bit of stuff I've watched, like it's almost like a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing where it's like we're talking to a like comic book guy. Isn't that crazy? Like this guy just makes comic books all day long. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Here is his, oh my God. Guess what scene he's in? Guess what scene he's in from, okay, you can already see my screen. He's in Uncle Ben's death scene.
Oh, is he really?
Right. So this is the Spider-Man movie, 2002. He just let the cop get away. He forgot the part where that was his fucking problem. And
Get back to me, all right? What happened? Old dude, man. Come on, folks. Keep moving, please. Please, keep moving. Let's go. What happened? Someone got hurt.
there he is. Did you see him?
Oh, I recognize that ponytail.
That's where
anywhere.
he is. That is on his IMDb credits. Somewhere else, it said that he was in Spider-Man 3. And it was during the key scene. That one's kind of unsubstantiated. I did my best to find it. I have someone I think looks like him. The best video I could find for the key scene. Could you read the title for this video?
Harry removed from key to the city. Wait, what is this? Read it. Oh, key to... Fan edit, Harry removed from the key to the city ceremony. Beautiful.
Isn't that great? Isn't that cool? All right, so key to the city scene. I think that was him. in the bottom right. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
He's changed a little bit. He's got that 2000s goatee.
Okay.
So he was in at least one like, who the fuck gave this man a cameo? Like very crazy. I don't know if he forced his way in or what.
He was it seems like he was pretty prevalent in, like, I guess comics are very centralized to New York, and this seems like a guy that is very, like, a New York guy, and he just, like, was involved in a lot of this stuff, I guess, and I guess maybe, like, during the time it was a little easier to break into the world and, like, make a name for himself. I mean, he is very big on the trademarking and the merch and the, like, self-promotion stuff, which, like, can't knock the hustle.
He was just fucking hustling. Yeah. I want to show you. You could watch the whole thing. I want to show you two important clips from his appearance. He was on Howard Stern. I didn't watch that. His two big things that he still references to this day on his social medias was Ice Loves Coco and the Howard Stern Show. So this is him in Superhero Coco. The original title for the episode was Baby Got Superpowers. This is season 3, episode 6. So he reached out to Coco, and they're now discussing this offer.
That's so funny because I got an email from this guy who wants to draw you in his comic book, like to make you some kind of character.
Is he legit? He seems on the up and up.
Yeah, his website seems pretty good. He seems like, this is what he does.
If I'm gonna be in a comic book,
You want to be the hero.
I want to be the hero.
Maybe you be the Thunderbutt.
Thunderbutt, I love that.
It has its own gravitational pull.
Oh, I love Ice.
It only gets more sexist from this point onwards. That's a low point.
Oh, God. All right, well, do you want to talk a little bit about his, like, so what is, like, Beyond Comics? This is his line, right? BeyondComics.tv. Check it out. The site is still up, and it looks like it has not changed since 2002.
That's his lore. Like, he was grinding hard. What we just read leads to, like, a redesign of the character, but, like, I can't find almost anything else. Ray the Dactyl is where a lot of his energy goes, but then there's a lawsuit. Ethan, I have to show you a little bit more of Ice Loves Coco before we go. Okay. There are two very important clips. We have to see Graig Weich. He's gonna be this next one.
I'm very interested to see why you called me. I know the little details as far as you're a comic book man. What does that mean?
You see with the attitude a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
You're a comic book man?
The little details.
I was thinking of you for a character called Cleo.
How did you even think of me? Like, you picked me out of, like, nowhere or what?
There was an episode of Law & Order that I saw you did. Venus, yes. Anatomically speaking, the structure and bone structure of your face and the proportions work perfectly to what we would normally do in a comic book and draw.
What do you think he meant by that?
I love that, honestly. That's great. That he's just like, well, the completely unrealistic body standards that we draw in comics, your 90% plastic face and body are exactly what we're looking for.
We're already doing that.
Yeah, it's like, I don't understand, too, like, why he's like, okay, well, why do you need to, like, contact a person to just be like, oh, actually, I'm gonna base... But, like, that's such a like, great hustle, is to be like, hey, here's a famous person, let me link this character to them so that I can, like, bump up my thing.
I think we need even more of that. Oh, okay, really? Okay, very quickly, this is what Ice-T is dealing with in this episode.
What up, dude?
What's up, Dad?
What's happening with you?
Not much, just trying to do a little grocery shopping.
You messing up out there?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I did go to jail, but...
We'll just leave it there. He's got his own stuff to worry about. She goes to a Comic-Con. It's fine. It's forever immortalized. There's still stuff with Cleo around. Guess what her superpower is? Don't think hard. She can seduce men. Very close.
Does she have a 14-inch statue?
still for sale, allegedly. There's one more clip here that I absolutely do need to show you. This is my favorite thing ever.
This is a cool comic. This is really good stuff. You actually look like this picture.
I always said I want those legs.
Your thighs aren't far from that.
It's
Coco
like
as Cleo.
Cleopatra, honey.
Well, they always put white women as Cleopatra anyway, but I like it.
What was that look? Look at her. Look at her face.
Hey, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
She's so not getting into it, dude. Oh my god.
I love that.
Wait, holy shit. That. No, he's reading Codename Justice.
Sevilla, he's really... Is it Codename Justice or is it?
No, it's Codename. You got two words there.
This is Codename. So this is after the reboot, the reinvention.
Yes, man.
Interesting. All right, you wanna get into the lawsuit? Tell me about this lawsuit.
It's mostly his cash cow. That's our working theory, I think. He creates the character of Ravidactyl. He puts a lot of his time and energy into it. Ravidactyl is very important to him. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a character, a card.
Elemental Hero Air Neos, right? From their Elemental Hero set, right? So the story I heard or that I read about is that he was at a con at the same time as Yu-Gi-Oh! While they were looking for designs for their Elemental Hero set, which are very superhero-y, right? And this went into and this is pretty recent too, right? This lawsuit.
I think it's just ongoing. I think that's the thing. He still talks about it.
It's been going on.
But I think it's just a long ass lawsuit. I think it starts around the fucking time that he's big, and I don't know if it affects anything. I don't know if it is a reason for anything, but he exists. He's got all these weird media stuff. There's a big lawsuit. In future episodes, we'll be better about our timelines. Right now, I'm just working on the conspiracy. Maybe he just got paid out. I don't know. I do think it was settled out of court, I believe.
Because they took out the card, right? They just they took the card out of circulation.
It's in the fucking TV show, too.
Yeah, that's wild. So, that's it. Because, I see a lot of, on the Yu-Gi-Oh! The most recent post I found about this is from... on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Subreddit 3 months ago, and everybody's shitting on him. It's I don't know, man. If for me too, I feel like it's that level is where you get ripped off the most. Is if you're in this dude that's not anything big, but you're out there enough that people are seeing you and know about you, and then you're coming I feel like that is when shit like that happens. But I mean,
I don't know if he was as litigious before or after. I don't know if this broke him, it's close enough. That's my not hot take. Close enough. Get your money, I would say.
Yeah, and also too, he's it's not he's done anything since then, right? I guess if there's something you gotta dig your heels in on,
he's only got 3 guys and they took one from him. Yeah.
Where is he now? What have you found on him now?
Just
I see some
it's his Instagram
posts of him at movie premieres.
Yes.
For the John Wick Anna de Armas spinoff movie for some reason. I don't know how he got invited, who he knows, how he got there.
He gets invited to everything. He's always posting at superhero themed events. He looks like he's having a great time. So you can't even fault him for or whatever. I wish he had, kept producing. I think it would have been funny. I think it's good to always keep weird guys around that are doing little universes. Oh, look at this. Superman Honest Review.
Oh, is he doing YouTube stuff
that
now?
Just started. We just looked him up a couple weeks ago. Oh yeah, one thing you have to know is that he always wears the jacket from Civilian Justice. He's got the same jacket.
He always wears a civilian jacket.
The most recent Heidi Klum's Halloween with Ice-T and Koki. He posted this 38 weeks ago. Maybe he's still hanging out with the two of them.
He must have like some like connections still in the like industry, I guess, in general, because there's oh man, he did a Hulk
Hulk was so kind to me. He learned from his mistakes and became a legend in wrestling. I think some of those mistakes happened after he was a legend.
Yeah, so he's just kind of this dude that's like around. He did a lot. I mean, like, he's done more in comics than I ever have. But like, that's the thing, is like, I feel like for every big like comic guy, like there's a million dudes like this, you know, that like kind of just like come and go, and it's like really interesting to see. Like you could do it. Like people just fucking full send it, and I think it's really like it's admirable that he like really gave it a shot and like went like full on with it.
Also,
you know?
He's dressed as the Zack Snyder Superman. The background for the Heidi Klum Halloween says Amazon Prime. He went with Ice-T and Coco. So, like, there's no argument that he's not still enjoying his life. Like, whatever happened during that period in his life, I think he just, like, kept it going without the output, you know? Mm-hmm. Bless him.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool though, man. Like, that's like, do what you gotta do. Like, it's a tough industry, and like, it seems like he's doing what he loves, which is cool, you know. And like, he's still like, I keep seeing there's like clips from his like some Codename Justice now, like short film proof of concept.
Oh yeah, yeah. His IMDb says that he still has stuff in production. He's still working on it.
He's still making
Netflix, give him some money.
I do want to shout out the spelling of his name, which is Graig, and I have never seen Graig spelled like that, and it's extremely endearing.
Mr. Graig.
I love that. Well, yeah. Do you have any final thoughts about the like looking back at the comic itself in general?
I think that as a self-made piece, it is very reflective of the anxieties of the time. I think him turning it out so fast, something that makes it more interesting. I think it's like a pretty cool snapshot that's kind of loosely told through like a superhero lens. Like it has the morality and like the arc of a superhero thing with like a lot of real world feelings like powering it. And I think that makes it interesting. Just because my brain is messed up, I think that there's a further arc for this character that could have him going to a very dark place, and I think that's interesting. But overall, I do agree that, especially in that time, there's a lot of, you know, that's a time where, like, if you want to get away with, like, putting up some absolute fucked up content, he very easily could have gone that direction. So, yeah, I do, like, admire, we've said it a couple times, the sincerity behind it. And it was an interesting read. I'm glad we chose that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, for me, it was definitely, like, it surprised me in a lot of ways, because like sometimes, I mean, like as we're doing this, like looking at stuff, right, we don't want to just look at stuff that's like bad, to make fun of it, right? It's just like, I mean, there are a lot of like interesting artistic decisions, I guess you would say, in this book, but like overall, like you could tell like it's just a dude who loves comics, right, and like really felt something when this happened, and like I think it comes through, like the sincerity, and like it was like surprisingly nuanced, and like you could tell it's a dude that like he believes in what he's like trying to say and like put out there. And I think that's one thing that is interesting about comics as like a medium, right? Just like having it being a platform for people to like really express their ideas without a lot of like oversight, or like it's a very pure thing, especially if you're like writing it and drawing it, you know, like you're really just like putting your vision out there. And I gotta say, I respect the dude for like doing what he's doing and like being out there.
Predates the Marvel boom, like he predates like modern comics. Like because he like stopped making comics, like he is like frozen in space as like a 2000s comic guy, like very like emblematic of that time.
Exactly.
And I think that's cool too, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that was a very interesting thing. Like looking at this dude is just like looking into like so many things that like are connected to like this era of like comics and like just nerd culture shit, like the whole real life superhero thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting too because like for me, like this is kind of where like I was like when I was getting into comics. This was kind of like that early 2000s era stuff. Is like that's what I was seeing a lot of, and like this dude is like a cool case study of like the time, just like people's reactions to 9/11 and stuff that was going on then. That about does it for civilian justice. I would love to maybe future come back to some of his other stuff. Ravedactyl seems really interesting, and Keto. Well, shout out Beyond Comics. Shout out Graig Weich.
Yeah. Everyone try to order. I want thousands of orders for Coco's statue to be on that defunct website overnight. If we can do that, let's give him a little career boost.
All right, you wanna lead out with just a little what we've been reading recently, like what's on our playlist?
Something completely unrelated. Yesterday, I was reading. Do you know anything about Malibu Comics?
Malibu Comics. That sounds so familiar. Is this the one that did like the Ultra Force and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
damn, fuck you. That's crazy. That was really good.
I had issues of Ultra Force, and I don't.
Sorry,
know why.
Ultraverse. Well, you're close to Malibu.
Ultraverse, yeah, the Ultraverse, yeah.
This was a completely random grab. Apparently, Malibu Comics also were the guys who did the Men in Black, the comic book. I knew that was based on a comic, but I didn't know it was small like that. Just completely randomly picked this up. There's like a bad guy named Rune, and he's like a weird. Hold on, let me share again. He's a weird double-hinged jaw vampire thing, and he can only feed on superheroes. So it was pretty trashy, but there's also weird stuff in there where like the Silver Surfer like randomly drops in. So I don't know what the fuck the lawyers had going on.
Yeah, because I think Malibu Comics got bought by Marvel like the same way like Milestone and Wildstorm stuff got bought by DC.
Yeah, maybe it was.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Any like ongoing stuff like that you've been
Something
reading?
I can actually recommend. Yes. Nothing pops into mind. What did I just?
I mean, for me, like the Absolute universe is still going strong.
Yeah.
Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Holy shit!
Sick.
Yeah. My favorite. Yeah, without a doubt.
Absolute Batman. Yeah, I think Absolute Martian Manhunter is definitely up there for me as like in this line, at least. Still keeping up with the new. I'm a little behind on like the new, like Ultimate Universe. But like Spider-Man's been great. I like the Ultimates a lot. Black Panther's cool. X-Men's awesome. I think X-Men and Spider-Man are definitely my favorites. And surprisingly, the Ultimates, I like that a lot more than I thought I would in this new Ultimates universe. I've also been going back and reading Revival since the new sci-fi show come out, which that was Revival. Like it's a town where everybody comes back, like they come back to life after they die.
Oh, cool.
And like it's kind of like a crime thriller about this cop who's like investigating
murders that
like all the goings on in this town.
Everything but murders.
With like a CDC guy. Yeah, but yeah, it's good. That's been a cool. Like also kind of. A little bit after, because this is like 2010s, but like from this era. But yeah, that about does it for our first episode. Do you want to anything you want to sign off on?
And the flag still stood. On the night of the
if anybody's got any good recommendations for any weird,
yes,
lesser known, obscure
Yes.
stuff that want us to look at, like infamous, weird, overlooked storylines in like the big two, trippy like manga one shots, anything like that, we'd love to take a look at it. And like,
weird guys making big swings.
Check it out.
That's what we're looking for. We would love
Yeah.
recommendations. Until next time, Ethan, I'm gonna
time.
pause here. I'll just call
Okay.
it that.
I gotta take a piss. I'll be right back.